Captain Jake Morrison stood on the bridge of the exploration ship Endeavour and watched Earth grow larger on the main screen. After 3 long years in deep space, he was finally coming home. The blue and white planet looked exactly as he remembered it, but everything else had changed. Humanity was no longer alone in the universe. Jake touched the datapad in his jacket pocket. Inside were the signed agreements that would change human history forever. The Galactic Council had accepted Earth. As a member, 3 powerful alien races had welcomed humanity into their ancient alliance. It was the greatest achievement in human history. "Captain, we're getting signals from Earth Control," said Lieutenant Ben Hayes from the communication station. "They want to throw us a parade," Jake smiled. "Tell them we'll be honored to accept." He looked around the bridge at his crew. Dr. Lisa Parker sat at the science station, still reading through alien technology manuals. Engineer Tom Wright was checking system reports. Commander Amy Rodriguez reviewed military cooperation protocols. They had all worked so hard for this moment. The Endeavour had left Earth when humanity's first contact with aliens was only 6 months old. The Vorthak Empire had arrived first, their massive ships appearing near Jupiter without warning. The reptilian aliens had been polite but distant. They explained that Earth was now within their territory, and that humans would need to prove themselves worthy of survival. Then came the Zephyrian Collective. These strange, floating beings of pure energy had seemed more friendly than the Vorthaks. They offered to teach humans about advanced technology and medicine. They spoke of peace and cooperation between species. The third race to arrive was the Crenari hives. The insect-like aliens had been the most businesslike of all. They wanted to establish trade relationships and offered to help Earth defend itself against other threats in the galaxy. Jake remembered how scared everyone had been at first. Humanity had always imagined that first contact with aliens would be either wonderful or terrible. Instead, it had been complicated. The 3 alien races all claimed to want to help Earth, but they also made it clear that humanity had to earn its place in the galaxy. That was where Jake and his crew came in. The Endeavour had been sent to visit each alien homeworld and negotiate humanity's entry into the Galactic Council. It had been the most important diplomatic mission in human history. "Doctor." Parker looked up from her reading. "Jake, I still can't believe how advanced their medical technology is. The Zephyrians showed me healing techniques that could eliminate most human diseases. The Vorthaks have genetic treatments that could extend human life by centuries. And the Crenari have biological enhancements that could make humans stronger and smarter." "It's incredible," Jake agreed. 3 years ago we thought we were alone. Now we're about to join a galactic civilization that's thousands of years ahead of us. The negotiations had not been easy. Each alien race had wanted something different from humanity. The Vorthaks had demanded that Earth restructure its military along their lines. The Zephyrians had insisted that humans accept their guidance on social and cultural development. The Crenari had wanted exclusive trading rights for certain Earth resources. But Jake had been patient. He had listened to their demands and found ways to compromise. Slowly, over months of careful diplomacy, he had convinced all 3 races that humanity could be a valuable addition to their alliance. "Captain," called Lieutenant Hayes from communications. "Admiral Collins is requesting a private channel." Jake nodded. Admiral Pete Collins was in charge of Earth's space defense. He would want a full report on the military cooperation agreements. "Put him through to my ready room." A few minutes later, Jake was looking at Collins's face on his personal screen. The Admiral looked tired but excited. "Jake, you and your crew have done something amazing," Collins said. "The whole planet is celebrating. The alien representatives here on Earth are already beginning the technology transfer process. We're going to have fusion power, faster than light travel, and advanced weapons within the year." "That's wonderful, sir," Jake replied. "The aliens seemed genuinely interested in helping us develop. They said that strong allies make the galaxy safer for everyone." Collins nodded. "The Vorthak military advisors are already reviewing our defense plans. The Zephyrian healers are working with our doctors, and the Crenari engineers are helping us upgrade our manufacturing systems. It's like Christmas morning for our entire species." Jake felt a warm sense of pride. All those months of difficult negotiations had been worth it. Humanity was about to leap forward by thousands of years of development. After ending the call with Collins, Jake returned to the bridge. The Endeavor was now entering Earth's atmosphere, and he could see the lights of cities below. Somewhere down there, alien beings were working alongside humans to build a better future for everyone. "Captain," said Dr. Parker, "I've been thinking about something. During our visits to the alien worlds, did you notice that we never met any representatives from other species? I mean, if the Galactic Council includes so many different races, why did we only deal with these three?" Jake paused. It was a good question. The aliens had mentioned other species in the galaxy, but they had always been vague about details. Maybe the other species weren't interested in Earth, he suggested. Or maybe these three races were assigned to handle our case. Maybe, Dr. Parker said, but she didn't sound convinced. Lieutenant Hayes looked up from his station. "Captain, I'm picking up some strange transmissions, encrypted signals between the alien ships in our solar system. They're not using any of the standard diplomatic channels." "Probably just routine communications," Jake said. "They have their own protocols just like we do." But as the Endeavor descended toward Earth, Jake felt a small doubt growing in the back of his mind. The aliens had been helpful and generous, but they had also been very controlling about what information they shared. They had their own reasons for everything they did. Jake shook his head. He was being paranoid. After 3 years of successful negotiations, humanity was finally part of something bigger than itself. Earth would never be the same, and that was a good thing. The universe was vast and dangerous, and humans needed powerful friends to survive. The Endeavor touched down at the spaceport to crowds of cheering people. Jake and his crew were heroes. They had secured humanity's future among the stars. As he walked down the ramp into the warm Earth air, Jake felt proud of what they had accomplished. He had no way of knowing that he had just delivered his species into the hands of their executioners. 3 months had passed since Captain Jake Morrison returned to Earth with the galactic treaties. The celebration parties were over, and humanity was settling into its new role as a member of the Galactic Council. Every day brought new wonders, as alien technology was integrated into human society. Jake stood in the command center of the newly built Galactic Relations Building in New York. Through the large windows, he could see Vorthak ships patrolling the skies alongside human fighters. It should have been a sight that filled him with pride, but something felt wrong. "Captain Morrison," called Agent Kate Miller from across the room. She was part of Earth's intelligence service and had been monitoring alien communications. "We need to talk privately." Jake followed her to a secure room. Kate's face was serious, more serious than he had ever seen it. "We've been tracking communication patterns between the alien ships," Kate said. "There's something strange happening. The three races are talking to each other a lot more than they talk to us, and their messages are heavily encrypted." "Maybe they're just coordinating their help for us," Jake suggested, but he didn't sound convinced even to himself. Kate shook her head. "That's what I thought at first. But the pattern is wrong. If they were helping us, they would include us in their communications. Instead, they're talking about us, not with us." Before Jake could respond, his communicator buzzed. It was Dr. Lisa Parker calling from the colony of New Haven, one of humanity's outer settlements. "Jake, we have a problem here." Lisa's voice was tight with worry. "The new defense systems the aliens installed are malfunctioning. We've lost contact with 3 other colonies in the past week." Jake felt his stomach drop. "What kind of malfunctions?" "That's just it," Lisa replied. "Our engineer Tom Wright has been looking at the systems, and he says they're not malfunctioning. They're being shut down remotely." Kate and Jake exchanged a look. This was exactly what they had been afraid of. "We're coming to New Haven," Jake said into the communicator. "Don't trust any of the alien-provided equipment until we get there." 2 hours later, Jake, Kate, and tech specialist Sam Carter were aboard a fast transport heading for New Haven. The colony was located on Europa, one of Jupiter's moons, and had been one of the first to receive the new alien defense upgrades. When they arrived at New Haven, they found the colony in chaos. The fusion power plant that the colonies had installed was running at dangerous levels. The medical center equipped with Zephyrian healing technology was reporting strange side effects in patients, and the Vorthak communication systems were broadcasting signals that no one could understand. Tom Wright met them at the landing pad. His face was grim. "It's worse than we thought," he said. "I've been analyzing the alien technology, and it's not what they told us it was." He led them to his workshop, where pieces of alien equipment were scattered across workbenches. "Look at this," Tom said, pointing to a device that looked like a standard communication relay. "The Vorthak said this would improve our communications with Earth, but hidden inside is a system that can intercept and block any message we try to send." Sam Carter, who was one of Earth's best computer experts, examined the device. "This is incredible," he said. "The complexity of this hidden system is amazing. It would take months to find all the secret functions built into this thing." "That's not the worst part," Tom continued. He showed them to another table where medical equipment was laid out. Dr. Parker found something disturbing about the Zephyrian medical treatments. Dr. Parker appeared from the back of the workshop. She looked like she hadn't slept in days. "The healing drugs they gave us aren't just medicine," she said. "They contain genetic markers that change human DNA. Small changes, but permanent ones." "What kind of changes?" Jake asked. "They make humans dependent on the drugs," Lisa explained. "After a few treatments, a person's body can't function normally without them. It's like they're creating addicts, but the addiction is built into our genes." Kate was taking notes on everything they were showing her. "This is systematic," she said. "Each alien race has given us technology that creates a different kind of dependency. The Vorthaks control our communications and defense. The Zephyrians control our health. The colonies control our power and manufacturing." Jake felt sick. Everything they had celebrated 3 months ago was turning into a nightmare. "But why? Why would they go to all this trouble?" "Because they're not trying to help us," Tom said. "They're trying to control us. And once we're completely dependent on their technology, they can do whatever they want with us." Sam Carter had been quietly working on one of the alien devices. Suddenly, he looked up with excitement. "I think I can break into their communication system," he said. "If I can decode their messages, we might learn what they're really planning." For the next several hours, the team worked frantically to crack the alien encryption. Kate used her intelligence training to analyze communication patterns. Tom and Sam worked together to reverse engineer the alien technology. Dr. Parker continued, studying the biological effects of the alien treatments. Finally, as the sun was setting over Europa's icy surface, Sam called out in triumph, "I've got it! I'm receiving their communications." The team gathered around Sam's computer screen. Alien text scrolled across the display, but Sam had written a translation program. As the words appeared in English, everyone in the room fell silent. The messages were between the 3 alien races discussing the progress of something called Project Harvest. They talked about human resistance levels, the effectiveness of the dependency programs, and timeline estimates for full pacification. One message made Jake's blood run cold. Human military capabilities reduced by 67%. Medical dependency established in 34% of population. Communication networks compromised. Estimate 6 months until species is ready for processing. "Processing," Kate whispered. "They're not trying to help us join their civilization. They're preparing us for something else." Dr. Parker was reading over more of the messages. "Look at this one," she said. "They're talking about other species, dozens of them, and they all follow the same pattern. Diplomatic contact, technology, sharing, dependency creation, and then something called harvesting." The room was quiet except for the hum of alien machinery. Everything they had believed about humanity's future was a lie. The 3 alien races weren't allies. They were predators, and humans were their prey. Jake looked at his team. These were some of Earth's best and brightest people, and they had all been fooled. If they could be deceived so completely, what chance did the rest of humanity have? "We have to warn Earth," Jake said. "We have to tell them what's really happening." "How?" Kate asked. "The aliens control our communications. If we try to send a message, they'll intercept it. And even if we could get word to Earth," Tom added, Who would believe us? The aliens have been so helpful and generous. People will think we're crazy. Jake looked out the window at the alien ships patrolling around Europa. They weren't protecting the human colony. They were guarding their investment. Then we'll have to find proof that no one can ignore. Jake said, "We'll have to show everyone exactly what these aliens really are." But as he said the words, Jake wondered if it was already too late. How do you fight an enemy that has already convinced you? They're your friend? Captain Jake Morrison knew they needed more proof. The alien messages they had decoded were damaging, but they needed something that would convince everyone on Earth, something the aliens could not deny or explain away. "There's a Vorthak research facility on Titan," Commander Amy Rodriguez said during their emergency meeting. "I've been training with their military advisors, and they mentioned it several times. They said it was for studying Saturn's atmosphere, but they were always secretive about it." Jake looked at the star charts on the table. Titan was Saturn's largest moon, only a few hours away from Europa. "What kind of security does it have?" "That's the strange thing," Amy replied. "For a research station, it has military-level defenses, weapon systems, patrol ships, the works. Why would atmospheric research need that much protection?" Sam Carter had been working on his computer while they talked. "I've been monitoring their communications since we broke their encryption," he said. "The Vorthaks have been sending a lot of traffic to and from Titan, much more than a simple research station would need." Dr. Lisa Parker studied the medical data they had collected. "If they're doing experiments on other species like they're doing to us, Titan would be the perfect place. Far from Earth, isolated, easy to control." Jake made his decision. "We're going to Titan. Amy, can you get us inside?" Amy nodded. "I know their security codes and patrol schedules. The Vorthaks trust me because I've been working with their training programs. They won't suspect me of being a spy." 2 days later, a small human transport ship approached Titan. To any alien sensors, it would look like Amy was conducting a routine inspection of human colony ships in the area. But hidden in the cargo bay were Jake, Lisa, Sam, and Tom Wright. The Vorthak facility was built into Titan's icy surface. From space, it looked like a few small buildings and landing pads. But as they got closer, Jake could see that it was much larger than it appeared. Most of the complex was underground. Amy landed the ship at the visitor's pad and went through the normal check-in procedures. The Vorthak guards knew her and waved her through without much inspection. Once she was inside, she quietly disabled the internal security cameras in the section where the others were hiding. "Okay, you can come out now," Amy whispered into her communicator. "But stay quiet, this place is bigger than we thought." Jake and his team slipped out of the cargo bay and followed Amy through the facility's corridors. The walls were lined with strange alien writing and pictures of creatures Jake had never seen before. But what worried him most were the empty holding cells they passed. "These aren't research labs," Tom whispered. "These are prison cells." They reached a central computer terminal, and Sam immediately began working to access the alien data systems. His fingers flew over the alien controls as he used the decryption methods they had developed. "I'm in," Sam said after several minutes. "And Jake, you need to see this." The computer screen filled with files and images. There were records of dozens of different alien species, each with detailed biological and psychological profiles. But these weren't scientific studies. They were conquest reports. "Look at this," Lisa said, pointing to one of the files. "The Altarians. The record says they were contacted 50 years ago, offered membership in the Galactic Council, given advanced technology to help them develop." Jake read over her shoulder. "And then?" "Then they were harvested. Their planet was stripped of resources, and the survivors were used as workers for the Alien Alliance. The entire species was enslaved in less than 10 years. Sam pulled up more files. Each one told the same story: diplomatic contact, technology sharing, dependency creation, and then total conquest. The pattern had been repeated hundreds of times, across the galaxy. The three alien races aren't a peaceful alliance, Jake realized. They're a conquest machine. They've been doing this for thousands of years. Amy was standing guard at the door, but she could hear what they were discovering. "How many species have they destroyed?" According to this database, Sam replied. Over 300. Some were completely wiped out, others were enslaved. A few were kept as breeding stock for biological experiments. Dr. Parker found another section of files that made her face go pale. Jake, look at this. They have detailed plans for humanity. They've been studying us for much longer than we thought. The files showed that the aliens had been observing Earth for over 50 years before making first contact. They had studied human psychology, biology, and social structures. They knew exactly how to approach humanity to gain trust and cooperation. This is why they used 3 different species, Lisa explained. They knew that humans would be suspicious of a single alien race, but multiple races offering different types of help would seem more trustworthy. Tom was examining technical specifications in the files. They've done this same approach with dozens of species. The Vorthax handle military and communication control. The Zephyrians manage biological and medical dependency. The Krenari take over economic and industrial systems. It's like a factory system for conquering entire civilizations, Jake said. They've perfected it over thousands of years. Sam found the most disturbing file of all. Here's the timeline for Earth, he said. Phase 1 was first contact and treaty negotiation. Phase 2 is dependency creation and infrastructure control. We're currently in month 3 of Phase 2. What's Phase 3? Amy asked from the doorway. Sam's voice was grim as he read. Resistance elimination and population control. They plan to remove or neutralize anyone who might oppose them. Scientists, military leaders, political figures. Anyone with the knowledge or authority to organize resistance. When does Phase 3 begin? Jake asked. According to this schedule, in 3 months. They're already identifying targets on Earth. Jake felt sick as he realized what this meant. They're going to start killing people. Anyone who might figure out what's happening or try to fight back. Lisa found another section that made her gasp. Jake, they have biological profiles of every human who's received their medical treatments. They can target specific individuals with customized biological weapons. We have to get this information back to Earth, Jake said. People need to know what's coming. But as he said this, alarms began sounding throughout the facility. Red lights flashed and alien voices echoed through the corridors. Amy, what's happening? Jake called. They've discovered we're here, Amy replied. Security teams are heading this way. Sam was frantically copying files from the alien computer. I need more time, there's so much information here. How much time do you need? Jake asked. At least 10 more minutes to get everything. Jake could hear the sound of alien footsteps getting closer. Amy, how many guards are coming? Too many for us to fight. We need to run now. Jake looked at Sam, who was still working desperately to copy the alien files. These records could save humanity, but only if they could get them back to Earth. Keep working, Jake told Sam. We'll buy you the time you need. Jake, Lisa, Tom, and Amy prepared to hold off the alien guards for as long as possible. They were outnumbered and outgunned, but they had something the aliens didn't expect. They had nothing left to lose, and everything to fight for. The future of humanity depended on the next few minutes, and Jake Morrison was not going to let his species go quietly into slavery. The real war for Earth's freedom was about to begin. The sound of alien weapons echoed through the corridors of the Titan facility. Jake Morrison pressed his back against the wall and checked his energy pistol. They had maybe 5 minutes before the Vorthak guards would break through their makeshift barricade. Sam, how much longer? Jake shouted over the noise of the firefight. Almost done, Sam Carter replied, his fingers still flying over the alien computer. Just need to copy the resistance files and the target lists. Commander Amy Rodriguez fired around the corner at the approaching guards. They're bringing heavier weapons. We can't hold this position much longer. Tom Wright had rigged an explosive device from spare parts in his toolkit. This should slow them down, he said, placing it at the entrance to their corridor. But it's only going to buy us a few more minutes. Dr. Lisa Parker was helping Sam copy the files. Jake, these records show something important. The aliens have done this to over 300 species, but 12 of those species fought back successfully. What do you mean successfully? Jake, asked while reloading his weapon. They either drove the aliens away or made the cost of conquest too high, Lisa explained. There's a pattern in how they did it. Sam's computer beeped. I've got everything. All the files, all the evidence, all their plans for Earth. We need to get out of here now. Tom's explosive device went off with a loud bang, filling the corridor with smoke and debris. That won't stop them for long, he warned. Amy led them through a maintenance tunnel she had spotted earlier. The tunnel was narrow and dark, but it led away from the main facility toward their landing pad. As they crawled through the cramped space, Lisa continued explaining what she had learned from the alien records. The species that successfully resisted had one thing in common, she said. They all figured out the aliens' weakness before it was too late. What weakness? Jake asked. The three alien races need each other to make their conquest system work. If you can break their cooperation, their whole plan falls apart. They reached the end of the tunnel and found themselves near their transport ship. But alien guards were already surrounding it. Amy counted at least 20 Vorthak soldiers between them and their escape route. We're trapped, Tom whispered. Jake thought quickly. They had the evidence they needed to warn Earth, but only if they could get back home, alive. Amy, do you still have access to the facility's communication system? Yes, but if I use it, they'll trace the signal back to us immediately. Do it anyway, Jake decided. Send everything to Earth on all frequencies. Even if they catch us, the information will get through. Amy connected her portable transmitter to the facility's main communication array. This is going to take several minutes to upload all the files. The alien guards were getting closer. Jake could see them moving in formation, preparing for a final assault. But then something unexpected happened. Wait, Sam said, looking at his scanner. I'm picking up human ships approaching Titan. Multiple ships. Through the facility's windows, they could see lights in space getting brighter. Human military vessels were arriving in the Saturn system. Amy's communicator crackled to life. Commander Rodriguez, this is Admiral Pete Collins aboard the battleship Liberty. We received your emergency transmission from Europa. Are you in need of assistance? Jake grabbed the communicator. Admiral, this is Captain Morrison. We have critical intelligence about the alien threat. We're trapped at the Vorthak facility on Titan with enemy forces closing in. Understood, Captain. We're moving to extract you now. The Vorthak guards suddenly stopped their advance as human fighters screamed overhead. The aliens began retreating toward their own ships, clearly not expecting a human military response. How did they know to come here? Tom asked. Agent Kate Miller, Jake realized. She must have been monitoring our mission and called for backup when we didn't report in. Within an hour, Jake and his team were safely aboard Admiral Collins's flagship. The bridge was crowded with human officers studying the alien files that Sam had recovered. This is worse than we imagined, Admiral Collins said after reviewing the evidence. According to these records, the aliens plan to begin Phase 3 in less than 3 months. What's our current military situation? Jake asked. Colonel Matt Thompson, the Admiral's chief of staff, pulled up tactical displays. Not good. The aliens have convinced us to integrate their technology into most of our defense systems. If they activate their hidden controls, they can shut down 60% of our military capability. And that's not our only problem, added Major Sue Davis from the Intelligence Department. The medical treatments have been distributed to over 100 million people on Earth. If the aliens activate the biological control agents, they can incapacitate a third of our population. Jake studied the tactical information. What about the colonies? How many people are living on off-world settlements now? About 50 million across 30 different worlds and space stations, Admiral Collins replied. But most of those colonies depend on alien-provided life support systems. Dr. Parker had been reviewing the biological data from the Titan facility. There's something else, she said. The aliens have been studying human genetics for decades. They've identified specific traits that make us dangerous to them. What traits? Jake asked. Our adaptability, our creativity, our ability to work together under pressure, and our refusal to give up even when facing impossible odds, Lisa explained. According to their analysis, humans are the first species they've encountered that might actually be able to overthrow their entire galactic empire. That's why they're so determined to eliminate us. Colonel Thompson realized, we're not just another conquest to them, we're an existential threat. Admiral Collins called his senior staff together. We need to develop a strategy fast. The aliens think they have us trapped, but we still have some advantages. What advantages? Major Davis asked. Engineer Tom Wright had been studying the alien technology files. We know how their systems work now. We can build countermeasures for most of their control mechanisms. It won't be easy, but it's possible. Sam Carter was already working on technical solutions. If we can purge their technology from our critical systems and develop immunity to their biological weapons, we might have a chance. But that will leave us defenseless for weeks, Admiral Collins pointed out. If we remove their technology, we won't have modern weapons or shields when their fleets arrive. Jake looked around the room at Earth's military leaders. These were good people who had been trying to do their best for humanity. They had been fooled just like everyone else, but now they knew the truth. Then we'll have to fight them the human way, Jake said. We'll use our creativity, our adaptability, and our refusal to surrender. We'll turn their own plan against them. How? Admiral Collins asked. Jake pulled up the galactic communication network on the main display. The aliens have been using the same conquest pattern for thousands of years. But now we have proof of what they've done to hundreds of other species. We're going to broadcast that evidence to every world in the galaxy. You want to start a galactic rebellion? Major Davis asked. I want to give every enslaved species in the galaxy a chance to fight back, Jake replied. The aliens' power comes from keeping their victims isolated and hopeless. But if all their victims work together, Admiral, Collins smiled for the first time in days. It might actually work. But first, we need to survive their attack on Earth. We will, Jake said with confidence he didn't entirely feel. Because we're human, and humans don't give up. The war for humanity's survival was about to begin, but for the first time since discovering the alien conspiracy, Jake felt hope. They had a plan, they had the truth, and they had something the aliens had never faced before. They had humanity united and fighting for its freedom. The alien fleets appeared at the edge of Earth's solar system exactly on schedule. Captain Jake Morrison stood on the bridge of the human flagship Victory and watched the enemy ships approach. There were hundreds of them, massive vessels from all three alien races working together as they had for thousands of years. Captain, they're sending us a message, reported Lieutenant Ben Hayes from the communication station. Put it on the main screen, Jake ordered. The face of a Vorthak commander appeared. His reptilian features twisted in what might have been a smile. Humans of Earth, this is Fleet Commander Vex of the Galactic Council. You have violated your treaty agreements and attacked our peaceful research facilities. Surrender now, and we will be merciful. Jake stepped forward to respond. For 3 weeks, humanity had been preparing for this moment. They had removed all alien technology from their critical systems. Dr. Lisa Parker had developed biological countermeasures for the alien medical weapons. Engineer Tom Wright had created new defense systems using only human technology. It had been the most intense military preparation in human history. This is Captain Jake Morrison speaking for the people of Earth, Jake said calmly. We know who you are. We know what you've done. We know about the 300 species you've enslaved and destroyed. Your lies end here, the alien commander's expression changed to surprise, then anger. You know nothing, primitive creatures. Your resistance is meaningless. Surrender or be destroyed. Jake smiled. We have a better idea. Why don't you evacuate our space now, before you learn why humanity was never meant to join your galaxy? We were meant to inherit it. The transmission ended and Jake turned to his crew. Send the signal to all ships and colonies. Begin Operation Lighthouse. Across the solar system, human transmitters activated simultaneously. But they weren't broadcasting to Earth's forces. They were sending a message to every star system in the galaxy, using the aliens' own communication network against them. Sam Carter had spent 3 weeks preparing the broadcast. It contained all the evidence they had gathered from the Titan facility, along with detailed information about how the alien conquest system worked. The message was translated into hundreds of languages and sent to every known world where alien enslaved species lived. "The galaxy will know the truth," Sam reported. "Every species under alien control is receiving our evidence right now." Admiral Pete Collins coordinated the defense from the command center on Earth. "All ships prepare for battle. Remember, we're not just fighting for Earth. We're fighting for every enslaved world in the galaxy." The alien fleets moved closer, expecting an easy victory. They had used their standard conquest pattern hundreds of times before. First, they would disable Earth's defenses using hidden controls in their technology. Then they would deploy biological weapons to incapacitate the human population. Finally, they would land occupation forces to begin the harvesting process. But when Fleet Commander Vex activated the hidden controls, nothing happened. The human ships continued functioning normally. "Impossible," Vex hissed. "Their systems should be shutting down." "Sir," reported his communications officer, "the humans have removed all of our technology from their military systems. They're running on purely primitive equipment." Vex was confused but not worried. Human technology was thousands of years behind alien science. "Then we will destroy them easily. Deploy the biological weapons." Alien ships released clouds of specially designed viruses and toxins toward Earth. These biological weapons had been created specifically to target human genetics. They should have incapacitated millions of people within hours. Instead, the biological weapons were neutralized by countermeasures that Dr. Parker had developed. She had used the aliens' own research against them, creating vaccines and treatments that protected humans from every biological attack in the alien arsenal. "Sir," the Vorthak officer reported with growing concern, "the biological weapons are having no effect. The humans appear to be immune." For the first time in thousands of years, Fleet Commander Vex felt something he had almost forgotten: uncertainty. "How is this possible? No species has ever resisted both our technological and biological attacks." "Because no species has ever been human," came Jake's voice over the communication channel. "You studied us for 50 years, but you never understood what makes us dangerous. We don't just adapt to survive. We adapt to win." The space battle that followed was unlike anything the aliens had ever experienced. Human ships were individually weaker than alien vessels, but they fought with a coordination and creativity that confused their enemies. When alien tactics followed predictable patterns, human commanders improvised new strategies on the spot. Colonel Matt Thompson led fighter squadrons that used seemingly random attack patterns. Major Sue Davis coordinated defense platforms that fired from unexpected angles. The aliens found themselves constantly surprised by human tactics that made no logical sense, but somehow worked. But the real shock came when reports began arriving from across the galaxy. The humans' broadcast had triggered something the aliens never expected: a coordinated rebellion on dozens of worlds. "Sir," the Crenari intelligence officer reported to Fleet Commander Vex, "we're receiving distress calls from 17 different systems. The enslaved species are uprising simultaneously." "Impossible," Vex replied. "How could they coordinate across such distances?" "They're using the humans' broadcast as a signal," the officer explained. "Every enslaved world received the evidence at the same time, and they're all rebelling together. On the captured world of Altair, the surviving members of the once great civilization broke out of their work camps. On the mining planet of Kepler, enslaved species overwhelmed their alien overseers. Across the galaxy, hundreds of worlds that had been conquered using the aliens' diplomatic deception were fighting back with the fury of beings who finally understood what had been done to them. The three-species alliance that had ruled the galaxy for thousands of years was suddenly fighting a war on hundreds of fronts. Their fleets were scattered across space, trying to contain rebellions that were spreading faster than they could respond. Back at Earth, Jake watched the tactical displays showing the galactic situation. "They're losing," he reported to Admiral Klins. "Their empire is collapsing." Fleet Commander Vex made one final attempt to complete his mission. "All ships, concentrate fire on the human homeworld. If we can destroy Earth, the rebellion will collapse." But as the alien fleet moved to attack Earth directly, they discovered humanity's final surprise. The humans hadn't just removed alien technology from their ships, they had weaponized it. Tom Wright's engineering teams had turned every piece of alien equipment into a bomb. As the alien fleet approached Earth, thousands of hidden devices activated simultaneously. Alien ships throughout the solar system suffered cascading system failures as their own technology turned against them. "This is impossible," Vex screamed as his flagship systems began shutting down. "How did they turn our technology against us?" "The same way we turn everything against our enemies," Jake replied over the communication channel. "We refused to give up, and we never stopped learning. You wanted to harvest humanity, but instead, you taught us how to harvest an entire galaxy." Within hours, the alien fleet was defeated. Some ships surrendered, others retreated, and many were destroyed by their own technology. The three-species alliance that had seemed invincible was broken. As reports continued arriving from across the galaxy, it became clear that the rebellion was succeeding everywhere. Species that had been enslaved for generations were winning their freedom, inspired by humanity's example and armed with the truth about their oppressors. Jake stood on the bridge of the Victory and looked out at the stars. 3 months ago, humanity had thought they were joining a peaceful galactic civilization. Now they found themselves leading a galactic revolution. "Captain," Sam Carter reported, "we're receiving thanks from liberated worlds across the galaxy. They want to know what humanity plans to do next." Jake thought about the question. Humans had never wanted to conquer the galaxy. They had just wanted to be free. But freedom, it turned out, was something that had to be shared to be real. "Tell them we're going to do what humans do best," Jake replied. "We're going to help everyone. Build something better. The galaxy would never be the same. The age of deception and conquest was over. The age of cooperation and freedom had begun, and humanity would make sure it lasted."